Take it as it comes. All right. Now it says 0% drop frames. All right, we're good. We'll start over. We'll go fast. Yeah. Morning, everybody. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. We're live on YouTube and Twitch. We had to restart because for some reason we were dropping frames. Let's blame OBS and YouTube. Okay? So make sure you tell who you need to tell. He restarted. This makes perfect sense. Hmm. Okay. I'm glad one of the streams ended. That's important. Here we go. Okay. We'll we'll be better. We'll build back better, they said. All right. Hey, remember we were freaking out because there's all these kids getting kidnapped in Nigeria at schools? They've been freed. So I don't know about you, but I was taking on some stress knowing that there were like repeat mass kidnappings of school age kids in foreign countries. That's fucking insane. But they've been freed. So, happy holidays. It's kind of extreme when you'll use children to do your bidding. Yeah, everybody need a little good news to start the day off. Especially because we had to like restart the show because OBS and YouTube took a fat shit. Um, you know, Americans helping Ukrainian war effort decry U.S. peace plans betrayal by Trump. So remember, as I've said before, one of the things that I learned is that the world's the our very best are in the front lines in Ukraine, embedded. Uh, Guys that are former active duty, former special forces, I'm laughing, former Leos, guys from all walks of life that are really good at fucking shit up are on the front line working with Ukraine. Hmm? Yeah, I don't. Can you not? Because I click go to channel. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know why that happened. That's so random. See if we can hit it again. It's just a Bloomberg article. Oh, it's probably because that was a link we posted and then we split. Yeah. I mean, first of all, are you even surprised? And the answer is no. Am I shocked that he would betray some of our very best? No. Uh-uh. That is exactly how we treat the very best of us. In case you had any fucking questions. Chinese researchers are simulating large scale electronic warfare against Starlink. I know that's gonna fuck up some people. Oh wow. Big high rise fire in Hong Kong. Multiple high rise. That's wild to look at. Now it looks like those are mostly empty. Only a few people died. Like 13 people out of 5 high rises. Come on, do math. Thousands of people in each building. U.S. Army Secretary warned Ukraine of imminent defeat while pushing initial peace plan. So this guy's a big piece of shit. Again, one of the problems with stupid people is they always try to push you into an Occam's razor position, force you to take the lesser, choose the lesser of two evils, and away we go. So, do you want to continue to fight in a war, or do you want peace? Well, of course I want peace. Okay, we'll sign a peace deal. It's not. It's not going to work that way. They declined because they're not losing. Again, think of it like a video game. Okay. Every time you, yeah, Slava Ukraine, fuck Russia, right? Every time you kill a Russian, your kill death ratio is 1 because you have not died yet. And then you just try to see how many Russians and Nazis that you can kill before you die. It's like a video game. And understand that as long as your KD's positive, meaning like as long as the majority of your unit survives, you're laying absolute fucking waste to the Russians, and they're taking heavy fucking losses. Why would you why would you not reinforce those positions, right? And fight on. You're winning, and they're winning. I want to. Though we can't supply you forever, should stop corporate welfare on the spot. The U.S. government should no longer support corporations who try to decide outcomes in wars. It's over. Nary another dime. When the government is speaking for business, it is a problem. Citizens United is the problem. It's a problem all over the world. I see elected officials going to other countries to try to get other countries to do business with their businesses back home. And it's just like, that isn't what a politician should be doing, though. That's what the heads of business are for. They're supposed to be getting meetings and trying to make their business a worldwide business, right? I don't think that's what heads of state are supposed to do. We have many a textile factory. Like, what? Okay, so we've been talking about what's going on in Kashmir. Kashmir is an area between India and Pakistan that's like a contested area. Think of it like a DMZ. But there was a bombing, and of course, one of Newton's laws applies here. So the bombing means heavy military presence and just like a lot of people walking around. A lot of fucking people on this planet walking around with ski masks on and rifles, and it kind of fucking tilts me. Oh, cool. I love being able to like read in more than English. Um, Emmanuel Macron in France, okay? They're announcing like an expansion to their all volunteer military, French Foreign Legion. So keep this in mind. When the finest, one of the finest fighting forces the world's ever known, the French military, is expanding by 50,000 and adding an additional €1,000 a month to their pay, which is $800. And then let's see here. We've all heard of Wagner before. Wagner, right? The Russian paramilitary group. They're being accused of cold-blooded killings in Mali. Mali, sorry. Keep in mind, Donald Trump thinks they're going to resolve this Russia Ukraine war by getting Ukraine to give away all of its land. I want to make sure that you know this. This is their plan. Like, look, 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 look. Russia says a U.S. envoy, Witkoff, is going to go to Moscow. What would keep Russia from just taking all those people hostage? Jesus. So stupid. You could. What if it's the whole fucking. God, they're dumb. Taiwan's president lashes out at Beijing, pledges $40 billion in additional defense budget. Yeah, that plan sucked like all the other plans. Yeah. Morning, Danielle. I don't think this is a good way to do it, but I think it's important to look at when somebody makes this proposal, how it's just shot down by like lawyers. So in England and Wales, one of their like top cops wants to eliminate jury trials for all but like the most serious of offenses and have most trials just handled by a judge. Keep in mind, as someone who's actually stood trial in the United States, most of the time they are. It's not like a cop gets a public defender. It's the cop showing his fucking evidence, and it's the person that did the shit standing there like, God damn it. Having been the person standing there like, God damn it. Okay? But eliminating the ability for you to have an attorney present for anything that isn't like a major crime, that doesn't spell more justice, that spells more corruption. It depends on who the judge is in front of you and who they got in front of them, right? It sounds very much like it goes back to like the cronyist of ideas, right? If a lawyer's on trial and he knows the judge as a defendant, like he is on trial, he's gonna get preferential treatment. He has a fucking Juris Doctorate and he knows the judge. Oh shit, yeah, you always gotta have the access to representation. Always. Otherwise there could be corruption. That's Why would you take that away? That's like one of our most basic rights, right? You have the right to a fair trial. You have a right to an attorney. And if you don't have one, you can get one for free. And they're usually all right, for the record. So there's a reason we talk about world news. So I know people are raring to talk about whatever else, and it's like, hold the phone. Trump leaked wit. He has to sell Ukraine on Russia. It's a deal maker's job. So Donald Trump's kind of putting it on this dude to negotiate on Witkoff to negotiate this deal. Every time I see one of these stories, we're gonna talk about it. Moscow Times reporting FSB arrests a teenager over alleged plot to attack the Kaliningrad church. People are always asking, how come they're trying to make social media like unavailable for people under the age of 16? Do you Have you ever heard of E-Bombs World? You can learn how to make anything. Oh, check this shit out. South Korea is transferring a retiring 1,200-ton submarine to Poland free of charge. And they're trying to build their submarines moving forward. It's like take this take my old car and let me build you a new one. So look at Elon Musk. This is who Elon Musk is. A genocidal maniac. Keep in mind one of the problems that we had during the election is the availability of Starlink impacting people's ability to vote. Does anybody remember this? Same man. A new Twitter feature exposes who in Iran is bypassing the state for unblocked internet. What do you think Iran does to people that break their laws? What do you think Elon Musk is going to have the Iranian government doing to its people. I mean, in Iran, they behead motherfuckers, bro, for bypassing the fucking internet. Elon Musk is going to get people killed. Has gotten people killed. Will continue to get people killed. Again, I've said the mishandling of Twitter is, I don't know. Has there been like a really bad disaster? What's like what's the world's worst disaster of all time? Oh, I'll tell you. The 1931 floods in China killed 4 million people. Okay, so and I can say it with my full chest. Elon Musk's mishandling of Twitter is the worst disaster of all time. I can do the math because the worst disaster of all time prior, the 1931 Chinese floods killed 4 million fucking people. And I can promise you more people have died because of, oh yeah, because of the mishandling of Twitter, the world square. Look, I went to school for social media. I literally was like, this is the future. This is how you communicate. Twitter was the epicenter of the fucking universe. When it happened, you knew about it on the spot. There was no fucking delay. To fuck that up on the world scale, death caused millions of people to die. hmm Think about the cuts to USAID alone. Already have killed 300,000 people. The misinformation spread regarding COVID, how many millions of people died unnecessarily? Think about all the wars and even just the little skirmishes, but think about all the violence that he wrought. Uh, WROUGHT. And I've sat here and told you if one person dies, it's a matter of national security. If I'm in charge, if one person dies, it's a matter of national security. If an American dies internationally, it's a matter of national international security. That's how important people are. Look at what Joe Biden did. The fewest amount of American troops die under the latest Democratic president. Clearly, what I'm saying out loud, I want as few of you to die while I'm in power as possible because to me, that's like the only real measure of were you worth a shit as a leader. Is did you make people want to fucking blow their brains out, or did you make people realize like you have to have like a plan and shit? You have to have a platform. You have to have a set of ideas that you're desperate, that you're like, I know this will work. Because I helped people sign up for healthcare for years with the goal of eliminating the cost for healthcare. So I already know what it's like when you eliminate the cost of someone's healthcare, what it does to their budget. So I've already had those conversations where they're like, "Oh, this is universal healthcare." Yeah, this is basically universal healthcare. You're hardly mobile, so it's not like you travel a lot, and your healthcare works everywhere. Huh? And it doesn't cost you nothing. It's the same company, but it doesn't cost you to use it. And in fact, they'll pay thousands of dollars a year for other benefits. Well, and the only way I can get this is to be disabled, retired, and poor, and or poor. Well, that's a shame. I why doesn't everybody just get this? I've had people not sign up for it because they're shitty that other people have to pay for healthcare. So, like I said, I've already had conversations with people about eliminating their costs for healthcare, and I know what it does. That's hundreds of dollars a month in your pocket. Not to That's before you use it. Not to mention what you pay to use it, right? Because for most people, you got a deductible, right? In addition to the monthly costs, in addition to the copay, you also have a deductible that you have to hit. I don't want that for you. Fuck all of that. All of that sucks ass. Keep the card you have, and all the costs are reduced to zero. How does that sound? That's universal health care. Oh, you're going to have to wait. Fuck all of that. The fees can be absorbed by the healthcare provider. They're making money hand over fist. The first company to step up survives, all the rest die. I don't give a fuck who makes it. I don't care if United Healthcare goes out of fucking business. But you know who will give away universal healthcare? Kaiser. Because I heard their fucking CEO talk. Yeah. If it came down the pipe, universal healthcare is the path forward, I'm in. I'll do it. Yep. And I challenge every healthcare fucking executive, say it. We could still make billions and billions of dollars and give away healthcare. That's how lucrative healthcare is. We could unfuck this healthcare system, it work correctly, and we still make money hand over fist. It's just right now you have cruelty in charge. Chaos is in charge. Greed is in charge. Selfishness is in charge. And I hate to be like that, but man, they are snuffing that shit the fuck out. And I'm talking like, how many billionaires have died? It has to be like 10% of the billionaires have died since the election. It feels like it. It feels like they're just falling out all over the place. Because a billionaire is the opposite of a socialist, right? A socialist just thinks that everyone should have healthcare, education, income, and housing, and if people were just at my level, right? I read a study that universal healthcare moves the goalposts from a high school diploma to a 2 year degree as the baseline for your community over time, mentally. Can you imagine if you left your house and instead of everyone's a fucking moron, everyone had their shit together, actually? Can you imagine? What if you got into a car accident and the other person could afford insurance on their car and could have like a civil conversation about, let's share our information. I'm really sorry. We'll get it worked out. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being like an unreasonable twat that doesn't have insurance, that runs. Because keep in mind, we could. I hate to be like this. We can do it the way I'm talking about doing it, or it's just gonna get worse. Like imagine the situation we're in, except it gets worse. Where I'm saying like, hey, healthcare executives, I've already said we could have universal healthcare, and that we're not paying shit. Americans don't actually pay shit. Yep, greed and cruelty and selfishness. Yeah. Won't you think of the poor healthcare executive? No, I won't. I'll think about all of the starving children. What is wrong with you? I'm just saying, like, I saw that the cost of a 4-year education in 1980 was less than $20,000. In 2000, the cost of a 4-year education, I think, correct me when I'm wrong, I want to say $45,000. And now in 2025, and I think the study was like done in 2020, so I think it's every 20 years was the study. So I think in 2020 they did this study and they said like a 4-year degree is like $150,000 now. So as I've said, we could do it my way, where you send your kids to school where they'll give you the education for free, which is what we were doing anyway. It's just now big schools are giving away education and you should take advantage of that. Because when you go to apply for a job and you put that you have a bachelor's degree from the University of Texas or University of Virginia or MIT or Harvard, oh, you're getting that job. Hmm. Yep. But what if everybody just did that? What if every college in the United States just said, hey, you're going to have to handle your living expenses, but college is free. They've made money hand over fist. The sports programs make more than the entire school does for the year. Just just know that. And keep in mind it's not going to go my way. I'm just saying we could have universal healthcare, education, income and housing, or we could have all this war. We could have heads of state going to other countries to sell them on buying our shit. No. I don't think that's what an elected official's for. I don't think American elected officials should be pro Russia or pro Israel, and I don't think they should be pro military industrial complex. I don't think you should be handling stock while you're in public office because of how much information they're privy to. Bob said that executive might have to miss a ski trip, but that's because he's fucking his secretary and not because he doesn't have the dollars to get there, Bob. Uh oh. Fastest glacier collapse on record. Now, the difference the difference between me and your billionaire buddies is that Bill Gates says climate change is nothing to be concerned about. We could just block out the sun. I saw this yesterday. You know, capitalism has gone crazy when instead of stop burning the gasoline that the fuel that you get from dinosaurs, please, and use the sun, that giant fucking thing in the sky that you shouldn't look at because it's so fucking bright. I put plenty of rocks on the planet that will soak up the sunlight and produce unimaginable amounts of power. You still chose to burn the sludge from the dinosaurs. There's finite amounts of that. Yeah, Bill Gates. FDNY. Yeah. Yeah, he was a white guy. You're a way to throw your career away. because you don't know what words mean. Bob triggered me. So every day we're going to go over the definition of socialism so that we can demystify it and make it not such a fucking bad word. Okay? Class, from Webster's dictionary, socialism is any egalitarian. We're going to put a pin in that and say we need to define what egalitarian is, because if you don't know what socialism is, I can imagine egalitarianism is going to be a bitch for you. Okay? To break it down Barney style, egalitarianism just means pro equality. That's the way to break it down Barney style. Okay? So socialism is any pro equality movement. So let's make sure that we don't have any issues with pro equality. Do you understand what equality is? Do you understand what it means to be pro equality? Okay, let's move on to the next part. Like, you don't have any problems with that. Okay. The next part is that it can also be any social, economic, political theory. It could fit into a range. Socialism fits into a range of discussions. Okay, so it is any pro-equality movement that fits into a range of discussions: social, political, economic. Okay, and there are obviously um, thoughts that fit into inside socialism. Okay, a lot of people get really fucked up with overthrowing the means of production. It absolutely shreds people's brains, and they're just like, ah, fuck, can't do it. Unions. Let's just, again, break it down fucking Barney style. It's called being a syndicalist socialist. It means that I am also pro union. There's a reason. It's because people are fucking really stupid. George Carlin was right. Half of all people are stupid, the other half, dear Lord baby Jesus. Okay? Now, when we say overthrow the means of production and we bring up unions, what we mean is that unions are like the check on capitalism. It is the best way to keep capitalism in check. Unions. Unions demand better benefits and pay for all employees in the union. Right? That's the whole point of being in a union. Okay? Join a union. I'm in Working America. I did the thing I tell others to do. You should do the same. Okay? Join a union. And then when we talk about what does the Socialist Party stand for? Equality, pro-equality, pro-union. We want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing instead of Citizens United and corporate welfare. And the overfunding of the military-industrial complex. Right now, the United States spends about $1 trillion a year in military spending, and about 45% of that, about half, goes to the military industrial complex, and it would cost $66 billion to end homelessness. So that means we have like $400 million that we could spend per year on these other programs. So did you hear what I said with the words that came out of my mouth? If we would just end corporate welfare, we could save $500 billion a year. It only costs about $66 billion to eradicate homelessness. This means give everyone a house. That means we still have like $360 billion left over, plus all the years after that for all the other programs. So mathematically, it only costs like $11 billion for everyone to have education. I think it was like 11. It was either like 11 or 19. It was like less than $20 billion needed to be injected into the education system to allow for basically free tuition for everyone. And that's because, from what I understand, like most of the existing budget is not used for college students. So if you just overfunded the fucking Department of Education, it could just spit out fucking scholarships. Hope I make sense. So again, we got like $360 billion left to fuck with. I'm pretty sure we could handle feeding people. Pretty sure we could handle healthcare. Somebody said like, "Oh, it costs like $1 trillion a year." Oh yeah? I bet you if we ban stock trading, eliminate um, all these subsidies for business, like if your company makes stuff and they don't make it in the United States and it isn't mostly sold in the United States, how the fuck are you an American company? I'm an American company based in Switzerland that makes gadgets for people in Afghanistan. What the fuck? Why are we subsidizing that? Why are we subsidizing business? That's the reason we're in the situation we're in now, is because the government is subsidizing business and it's being forced. Are you going to bail out the banks? Are you going to bail out the farmers? Are you going to bail out big business when the AI bubble bursts? I say burn it all the fuck down. Lose everything. Start over. Do it better. Pick better leaders. Explain it to me like I'm a 5 year old. That's what I'm trying to do. Socialism is any pro equality movement, social, economic, political, that talks about like overthrowing the means of production. I'm a syndicalist because that makes sense to me. Let's be pro union. In my life experience, the most stable people that I was ever around were union members, union employees, wrench turners. No offense, all due respect. Con- Contracted, unionized labor. Bob was a city councilman. He said, "I can't tell you how many buildings were built by tax dollars from multimillionaires, and I am opposed. I cannot be bought. You don't have enough money, and if you did, I would give it all away." Yep. And keep in mind, Donald Trump is going to try to bail them all out. Because think about this, the small businesses are already impacted. Donald Trump did all his damage to small business owners his first time around. And look, social media accounts linked to Sudan's RSF are based in UAE. It's all done under economic development. Yeah. when I think about economic development, I think that the government should be more focused on, hey, this is what this property is zoned for, and you can build there, and this is what you can do as long as you have the permits to do that, not funding it. I don't think it's the government's job to fund business. Just like I think that there should be separation between church and state. I think there should be separation between state and business. They are not intertwined. I like seeing things die. It lets me know shit is real and I'm not in a fucking simulation where the bad guy always goddamn wins and I'm constantly oppressed. I do not want to live like that. Somebody left a comment yesterday on YouTube that I am a scammer and I just wanted to apologize for scamming you out of no money. I could have done better. Yep. Cuba condemns aggressive U.S. stance towards Venezuela as tensions rise. And they're straight up calling the lady that's the new mayor in Seattle, they're calling her a socialist. I'm seeing if there's anything else. Nah. Switch over. I know a lot of you are getting antsy in the comments, want to talk about other shit, but I think it's paramount if we're going to talk about news and politics that we start from a world perspective. So I know you want to talk about what you want to talk about, but Justice's Waiting Room, a daily podcast discussing news and politics, is live on Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, and because you see shit happen in the world, and then a week later it happens here, right? And we're like, oh my god, how did that happen? And I'm standing there going, we talked about it. Hashtag JWR while I share the show. Have you ever heard someone speak about politics and they have no clue what's going on in the world? And you're just like, oh no, that person doesn't know what the fuck they're. Nope. You know, I'm not going to be one of those people. The people in my audience are not going to be those people. You're gonna be one of those people that you could see it as a bad thing, where you're like, I watch this show every day, but the first fucking hour sucks because this dude's talking about he might as well be speaking fucking Sputnik. He's talking about shit going on in other countries. Our money's wrapped up in it. It's a world economy, and the U.S. is invested everywhere. I do take it back. Y'all did hook it up with space heaters. I see some of my buddies from the Marine Corps fighting the good fight on Facebook, and sometimes you can just never. In the U.S. yesterday, the biggest story that's going to directly impact this is going to impact everything. Bob, you're great. Now, I will say there are people that are fucking delusional and everything is fucking China's fault and shit, and they don't know how to talk about what's going on in the world. Like, for example, you can bring up in conversation that I watched a show today where they pontificated on the significance of South Korea giving Poland a submarine as they negotiate to build submarines to be their submarine builder. I think that's a newsworthy thing. Giving someone a fucking submarine is goddamn significant. You know what I'm saying? So, like, don't do this shit. Okay? Some of you are going to be in charge one day. Maybe don't be an executive at Campbell's Soup. Okay? Telling people that they 3D print the fucking meat in Campbell's Soup. Oh my god, I'm never eating that shit the fuck again. Okay? Gabby said I was told I can't talk about politics on Thanksgiving. Oh, I wouldn't be there. If I cannot be my full adult unrequited self, I'm out. Go fuck yourselves. Uh-huh. Yeah, if we ain't gnashing teeth, we are not having a holidays. Donald Trump is turning the national parks into his cash crop by tripling the fee for non-residents and upping the fee for regular residents. Because that's how you get people back into America's parks is take all the park rangers out and then charge more. And to the surprise of fucking no one, the employees at Twitter, the insiders, are saying like, dude, we've been rejecting that fucking location feature because it's damaging. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so I'm going to share this story and immediately move on. But listen, I was trying to gonna be funny, okay? But I'm always afraid my wife's gonna poison me to death, and it's not because like her, it's just people. Um, I saw fucking Gladiator. Um, anyway, here's this story about this Simi Valley man found guilty of murdering his ex-wife. Hold on, burying her. Hold on, then digging her up. Hold on, to rape the corpse. I didn't even check if she was hot, so I have no further comments. People have been sending me the video of all these veterans talking about defying illegal orders. Okay? I'll give mine. Somebody clip it. Okay? what are we like? It's about 9 a.m. Okay. My name is Jared Malat. I am a United States Marine Corps infantryman. While I was on active duty, checking in to my unit, we were hazed. If it hadn't been for my fellow Marines standing up and dusting themselves off and saying, fuck this, we're not doing this shit, I can't imagine what the rest of my time on active duty would have been like. The guys that hazed us were pariahs. The guys that stood up and said enough is enough became our leaders, despite their rank. Do you understand how important it is to neither give an illegal order and how fucking important it is to not follow illegal orders? I'm just talking about hazing. Semper Fi. Think about how many people's careers would have been over if they had just been allowed to continue to haze us. They stopped hazing in the Marine Corps while I was on active duty as a result of my hazing. And again, this is not beating my chest, saying I stood up, I did something. No. My fellow Marines did too. And the guys that did that shit, they were a scourge. And when we asked them, why the fuck did you treat us like shit? You know what they told us? Because that's the way we got treated. And so on and so on. They told us, be the change you wish to see in the world, right? Now, fortunately for me, I had been to college before I went to active duty, and I had been in a fraternity, and I had been hazed, and I had, well, to a lesser degree. So I had already felt that, and it was easier to identify the second time around. And again, it's not me saying like, and because I did the right thing, this was the outcome. No, because the guys to my left and my right stood up and said, yo, fuck this shit. We ain't doing this. I ain't going out like this. I didn't work. I didn't lose 100 pounds in 3 months. Literally hop, skip, and a jump through your Marine Corps boot camp, hoorah, and then get to the fucking fleet to die in an office. You get what I'm saying? I didn't come here to fucking sweat till I fucking pass out in the first floor of this office, basically. I'm not doing that shit. You want to go run me? Let's go run. You want to go lift? Let's go lift. You want to push? Let's push. But not when it's 100 fucking degrees and you've locked me in a small room against my will. So when I talk about how important it is to neither give an illegal order nor obey one, I have a really specific and unique example that totally fits. Can you imagine how this person would be if the story was, I got fucking hazed and I was too bitch to do anything about it, so I just fucking took it and I almost died in that room, right? That would be a much, much fucking different story, would it not? You wouldn't have such a fucking spitting image sitting in front of you. that can tell you exactly what the fuck that felt like and how it got fucking stomped the fuck out. They had us in fucking classes learning languages. They started really focusing on your fucking MCIs. You got to really learn and read and quickly because they know all about the shooty shooty fucking bang bang, and they know all about being terrible to each other. They know very little about community building, very little about I'm trying to get that person to fight to the death for me, right? And if I'm trying to get that person to fight to the fucking death for me, I sure as fuck cannot be hazing them. That's pretty simple. If that had been allowed to persist, now that we're not involved on any front, think about the cycle of hazing, except now there's no combat machine to feed it to. Do you see what happens? You see how important it is in the Marine Corps history? And I'll never hear shit. Patterson will never hear shit. O'Brien and Rady will never hear shit. But because of 4 or 5 big white boys that said no, hell no, they stopped hazing in the Marine Corps while I was on active duty. hmm they made it illegal, like part of the like you see the code of conduct. Basically, you could get kicked out of service, get your rank reduced, pay taken, and get kicked out for hazing. They changed the rules. They used to haze for sport. I was friends with like the NCOs, the guys that had been in for a while that were more my age, and they used to tell us like that was pretty awful. It's fucking hazing. Oh, they did way worse shit to us. They were fucking terrible. And you're just like, what? Like I always think about where do you draw the line and shit, and it's like nails through the hands. And then just think about like how many people have been through like just as bad as shit as nails through their hands, like nailing Jesus to the cross, right? How many people have been through like way worse shit from their own, like their peers? Uh oh. The U.S. Justice Department memo about boat strike diverges from the Trump narrative. Uh oh. Uh oh. Whole concept of hazing is stupid. Oh, you want to talk about stupid hazing? Let's talk about stupid hazing. So I went to Purdue University. I rushed SIGNU. I did not stay with the fraternity because they wanted a condition of me being a brother that I stayed in the house over the summer and wanted me to pay $2,500 a month. And I said no. And they were like, okay, we don't want you in anyway. And it was just like, okay, I got friends at other houses. I'll just party. So I rushed SIGNU and they had a selection. So keep in mind, like, when you rush for a fraternity, they could tell a whole bunch of people no. So, like 60, 70 guys ran, and something like only 35 got selected. Okay? Now, I lived with uh, two people that were already in the house, that were already brothers. I rushed with a guy that I lived with that became a brother. They just went home for the summer, so they didn't have to worry about it. Okay? The first thing that they did for hazing, because we were talking about hazing, they locked us in a basement with a case of Keystone Light each and a bathtub of ice and said you can come out when you finish your case. So what I did was threw my case of beer on ice and try to get as many people to get their beer in the bathtub as possible to get the beer cold as fast as possible. And then just have a nice time, drink your beer. You're never drinking a case of beer. That's fucking insane. And they were like, "Wait, what do you mean? We have to drink a case of beer." And they said, "Well, we didn't say we couldn't leave the you could move on from this activity once your case is gone. So what you ought to be doing is taking a beer and go find a brother and get to know him. Give him a beer. Have a nice cold beer with him and see if maybe you could get away with drinking 12. That's probably a better goal than drinking that entire case of beer. And do you know what they did to me? They taped my fucking mouth shut. And I was not allowed to help anymore. Mulata is not allowed to help. They hated it. They hated me because they tried to haze me, and I'm smarter than you. It never works out for you. But it's real. But it's real. I was the first one to leave that place. I wasn't that faded. hmm Besides, the guys I was friends with, they had a snow cone maker, and I just went and ate shaved ice with booze on it afterward. Had a good night. It was good. I ate a snow cone and went to bed. But don't get it twisted. Like it was fucking hazing to lock people in a basement with a case of beer each and a tub full of ice and say you can leave when your case is gone. And people are dumb, right? So I had guys that just were like, "Fuck it, I'll drink warm beer." What? So as George Carlin said, most people are just goddamn stupid. Don't get it twisted. I love whiskey. Like that shit goes down and it doesn't fuck me up. I feel good. I could drink whiskey every day and it had cuz I don't need that much. A couple ounces of whiskey and whiskey just kills germs. So it's not like it's astringent. Yeah. George Carlin, Bill Hicks, fucking Doug Stanhope was incredible. Not many people have heard of Doug Stanhope. He has the funniest joke I've ever heard. Oh, Bob, my entire fucking life. That story about how when I was rushing Signu, they tried to trap us in a basement, and because people are stupid, they just assume the people that we don't want are just gonna get irrevocably fucking retarded drunk, and we're gonna have to kick them out. Oh, by the way, let me finish that story. So I got my mouth taped over. I'm not allowed to talk. No more ideas from you. Okay? I finished my case. I left the party. I go to hang out with my boys. I'm having a shaved ice. I'm going to go home and go to bed. Do you know what happened that night? If you're from the Midwest, maybe you've heard this story. So on that night, what happened was 9 pledges from Signu walked to the Purdue University golf course, stole 9 golf carts, and drove them and parked them in their rival fraternity's parking lot. Bunch of guys got kicked out of school, charges. So do you see how destructive that hazing was for a bunch of people's lives? But hell yes, tape his mouth shut. Oh, that would be a great movie right there. But yeah, that's my whole life in a microcosm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would be like, hey, we should just do this. And I just get my mouth taped over. The shit happens anyway that I warned you about. And I'm like, I fucking told you so. That's my whole life. If there was no damage to the carts, would have let it pass, right? Yeah, they tore up the Purdue golf course. They tore up yards. Apparently they were like doing donuts on the baseball field and shit. This was 20 years ago. But it was a pretty big story. Your boy was not involved. I ain't drinking 24 fucking Keystone Light ever in my life. Not even one time. Not even one whole case of beer to myself in a lifetime. Yeah, yeah. Y'all ever see Animal House? There's less news today. Just throwing this out there. I'm kind of looking, so there's kind of a reason why we're talking about this shit. By the way, this for me is just chef's kiss. Tyson's, which is a local meat producer that that produces meat nationwide, is closing its fucking hometown plant and going out of fucking business. Also heavily invested in Donald Trump in Nebraska. Going out of business there in Nebraska. If I remember correctly, the Boy Scouts were supportive of this regime, and now the federal government is cutting ties to scouting, saying that they're attacking boy friendly spaces. Uh, as an Eagle Scout, as someone that was Order of the Arrow, which is an honor bestowed upon 1% of all Eagle Scouts. Scouting is for everyone. I can say it having done it all and won it all. It's for everybody. The scouting is it's not Boy Scouting to me. It was Scouts. We called it Scouts. And not because there were girls. I'm no boy, right? The scouting is a thing. No, having a lay of the land, knowing how to boat, knowing how to swim, tie knots. That shit's not for men. It's for people. These are skills people need. Uh-huh. Scouting taught me to garden, taught me how to throw a lean-to. It taught me how useful like a multi-tool could be at a campsite. It taught me how useful one of those mobile kitchens could be at a campsite. Bob might know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a big box. You put it on stilts, and when you open it up, it like you could cook on that and store all your dry goods in it. Yeah, I love those camping kits. Um, I developed a love of travel because I learned to keep it simple, stupid. Right? Uh, Pack only what you will need and understand what you're going to receive. Like if you go somewhere and you're staying in a hotel, you don't need to bring shampoo and soap, doggy. You could just go buy the shit when you get there for like $1, or they'll give you stuff and you could just smell different for a little while, right? They're calling for Wickoff to be fired. Yeah, because it's his job to sell. We were talking about it. It's his job to sell Ukraine on peace with Trump, or peace with Trump, peace with Russia. Yep. Like G-Eazy said, say less. Youth safety advocates urge Congress to uphold state AI rules. Gupta. Soldiers must obey unlawful orders under Trump. It's their legal duty. Yeah, I read an article about a wave of resignations that are coming and that it's really bad for Donald Trump and Mike Johnson. So, Marjorie Taylor Greene out. All of the star power is going to back out, in my opinion. All the Republicans that want to stay in politics are going to back out. They got to distance themselves from MAGA. People are starting to, people that have a shred of intelligence are distancing themselves. People that were supportive of Donald Trump are moving on. Hmm. I just realized Donald Trump looks like a turkey. I mean, he's got a neck that looks like a pussy. You know what that's from? That's from never doing neck exercises. So, by the way, what you can do is push and push against your head and do this. Push against your head for strengthen your neck. And if you do that when you're young, guess what you don't have? Guess what you don't have? I have a picture from when I was in high school. My fucking neck. Because I was a football player and I was super focused on I'm not dying on a football field. So it was like I had a huge traps, big ass, thick ass neck. Yeah. I took care of my fucking head. Yeah. Yeah, it's one thing when you're using your head as a weapon and another when you're using it to suck dick. The JJ neck. What makes you think he's ever exercised any part of his body? Nothing. Nothing tells me that you're not an athlete like your golf swing. Have you ever watched Donald Trump golf? He looks like somebody that's really mad at a mini golf course. He doesn't look like somebody that's just bad at golf. He looks like somebody that's at a mini golf course that's just pissed and sucks at golf. Also, he has a tiny mushroom headed dick, apparently. Aw, him and Elon. All these other kids with their fucked up dicks. Yeah. Better run, outrun my mushroom. That's a song about Donald Trump being a rapist. State and local contracts pop up for for-profit prisons. Woo! Welcome to America, home of for-profit prisons and data centers. My goddamn water's brown. My power's out half the time. Burp a couple times. Remember how I made this video after the big beautiful bill came out and I was like, there's no way that's going to pass. Do you remember I said this? You're going to walk all that back, Don? Do you remember that video where I was like, oh, he's walking all that shit back? All that shit back. That shit's not popping off. That shit is not happening. Donald Trump has opened the door to extending ACA subsidies by 2 years. So just know, so just know, Taco. By the way, you know what spells disaster? Here, I'll show you. Here's the story that lets you know like ah shit. Ah shit. Ah shit. China and Japan are in a showdown and Donald Trump's in the middle. Way to go, America. The art of the deal. So when China nukes Japan, big tech's 200 million AI power grab is bad for California and America. And as I've said before, down with AI. Art of the Steal. JD Vance says, stop talking about my daddy. To Mitch McConnell. The Republicans are terrible communicators. And by the way, people are like, why did you do that thing about being in the Marine Corps and being hazed? Why did you spend all that time? Here's a video of a bunch of popular veterans. Keep in mind, I always think about who you hear speaking up and who you do not hear speaking up. A bunch of elected officials made a video telling people on active duty to disobey illegal orders. I'm going to have them investigated. Welcome to Jackass. And you know what I'm never doing? You know what I'm never doing? I'm never normalizing Donald Trump as president again. You know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to share the article talking about Donald Trump talking about pardoning a turkey and Thanksgiving and all that other shit. Nope. I'm not normalizing that. He doesn't get to have normal conversations. Hey, I'm just letting you know the brown kid's not making it the week. Okay? Donald Trump is going to fucking fire Kash Patel. You gave me my first tufted couch. If the couch has tufts on it, it's like you got something to hold hands with. You know what I mean? You know how drunk you gotta be to fuck a couch? Uh oh. You know how I know he's fucking dying? You know how I know he's fucking dying? He has drastically reduced his schedule. Do you know what drastically means? He wanted to be the richest person at the nursing home, and now he won't make it to the nursing home. I saw this this morning as well. You want to talk about dumb shit? The U.S. Justice Department plans to construct a gun rights protections office within the Civil Rights Division. Right. You don't have to delete messages. I try not to give you shit for derailing the show. Consumer confidence hits lowest point since April. It has been 90 days since the president released the jobs report. That's just funny. Donald Trump says he'd rather not extend ACA subsidies. Rather not. Let them eat cake, Don. Mayor-elect Mamdani tells 170 Adams administration staffers to be out by January 1. I'm like, you don't have to delete your comments. I, you know, 20 states are suing HUD over this program that helps homeless people. I think we should nationalize Habitat for Humanity. There's no jobs to report. Like, you don't have to delete your comments. Hey, stop me if you've heard this. Voters are frustrated with the economic reality as the holiday season hits. I feel like this has been the last 15 years of my life. Shit. I'm copying and pasting shit. You rarely see me type. I feel you. God damn it. A guy says the Titanic is way too big to sink. Gets job of co-captain on Titanic. I just posted an article about a Louisiana official that said COVID-19 vaccines are dangerous, has now been given a key CDC position. So do you see how it works? All you had to do was say, the Titanic is fucking unsinkable. You, sir, are a captain. That there Titanic is unsinkable. That sounds like a captain speaking. Dane Bramich? Yep. fucking minefield. Yeah. Don't be too hard on yourself. A little bit eat the rich, a little bit of weather, get the fuck out of here. So let's see what's going on here. Oh, okay. All right. Dangerous travel warnings. I can't believe this is happening on Thanksgiving, but how fucking typical is it? Kind of depends on where you live, actually. There's a little bit of rain in western Oregon. Okay, in Montana and Wyoming, there's mixed rain and snow. Okay, as we move east in southern Texas, there's some rain on the south tip of Texas there, across the Gulf of Mexico, and it looks like into Florida. There's spots of rain up the eastern seaboard. So I notice small little rain, southern Georgia, southern South Carolina, sorry, up into the Carolina, right into North Carolina. And then I see a big ass storm, top dead center, uh, basically from central Minnesota into Michigan, up into Canada. It's a big boy. It's a big storm. Okay. Pushing out snow on the backside and rain on the front side. What does this mean, class? Ice. And also falling temperatures. So I know there are people who are like, I don't know what any of this means, Jared. Okay. When we have like widespread snow and mixed snow and rain, and we haven't had that because temperature had to come down. So that's part of the weather is like, hey, the temperature's coming down. Snow in places that get it. But I want to make sure we point out up there, and I'm not a weatherman, I'm just a guy, right? Hey, it looks like on the front side of that storm, it's rain. On the back side, it's snow. What that tells me is ice. Hey, Michigan, specifically, Canada, they're saying like a lot of people are going to be impacted here. Chicago, Madison, Minneapolis, Detroit. Uh, I don't know much of Western Michigan well, and that's my fault. I've mostly spent my time on the thumb. Anyway, keep your head on a swivel. No fucking surprises regarding weather. If I'm you, I ain't flying. Uh, yeah, keep your head on a swivel. We'll see you tomorrow.